I meant to do this yesterday, and I completely blanked out, I'll admit. It was kind of a hectic day yesterday. Cammy had to visit her mother. Don't ask. But I was pretty much busy all day with one of my best friends, her boyfriend, and another girl. And we're just, spending time and decided to watch Texas Chainsaw 3D. Now, before I get to the movie, I'm going to really hesitate on this because there's no certain way to say what I thought of the movie, but some of the trailers they had before the movie, like the Iron Man 1, trying to turn Iron Man dark, looked boring to me. I'm not a big Iron Man fan in the first place, but if you're going to explore Tony Stark's alcoholism, explore his alcoholism. Not, am I Iron Man or am I Tony Stark? Oh, it doesn't matter, I'm rich. Or the fucking Mandarin looks funny as hell, if I'm completely honest. It's Ben Kingsley with a guru beard and mustache and the 10 Rings of Power in a green robe. And he just looks like Ben Kingsley in a wizard's robe. He's not fighting the Mandarin, he's fighting Gandalf the Green. But they also had one for the new Evil Dead movie. I want to see that. When Bruce Campbell goes, "This is the movie I should have been in 30 years ago or 40 years ago," you know it's going to be good. Or at least it should be good. And when I'm watching it, they keep certain things in there, like the "We're gonna get you." I'm like, yes, they did this right. I mean, at that point, when they started doing that, all four of us got quiet and we're like, but, the one trailer that impressed me, and I'm shocked that it impressed me at all, was, A Good Day to Die Hard. My problem with Live Free or Die Hard, other than the fact that it was an incredibly convoluted movie that came completely out of left field and shouldn't have existed in the first place, was the fact that the movie was so fucking boring. This one, it doesn't look perfect at all, but it looks fun. They kind of make fun of John McClane always getting into situations like this. He's standing in an elevator with his son and one of the Russian guys, and the Russian guy says, "You always find trouble," and his son goes, "Don't encourage him. Just don't encourage him." It looks cheesy, but it looks good. It's hard to explain, and I definitely want to watch that eventually. And then we got to Texas Chainsaw 3D finally, and I'm just... Now, the reason I'm hesitating on this is I haven't decided whether I liked the movie or thought it was just meh. Because in order to review this entire movie, I'm going to have to talk about it as two different movies. You have the sequel to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre that takes place 40-some years later. Well, or if the movie's to have you believe 20-some years later. I'm trying to remember when the original was made. I think it was 74, but I could be wrong. Which is a solid slasher movie. It's not, exactly brain surgery or rocket science, but for a slasher movie, it's really good. It's fucking tame compared to what the last Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie was. The last one I saw, the Jessica Biel one, I didn't bother with the beginning because the Jessica Biel one was just... The only good thing about it was Arlie Ermy, and I really didn't need to see him in his underwear. No one needs to see Arlie Ermy in his underwear. Ugh. I need more brain bleach. Forgot about that. But, it didn't take itself too seriously. I mean, they have a part where Leatherface is chasing the main character with his chainsaw out. They go to a carnival, and you see a house of horrors open up. People run out, and Jigsaw from the Saw movies is chasing them with a tiny little chainsaw. Leatherface runs up to Jigsaw, and Jigsaw looks at Leatherface, goes, and runs away. So yeah, this isn't exactly a movie that's going to take itself seriously. Part of what made me not enjoy this movie as much, though, was the audience. I want to find the dumbass who thought it was a brilliant idea to bring your 2-year-old son to this movie. I also want to find the dumbass parents that thought it was a good idea to bring their grandchildren and their 19-year-old daughter to see a movie where every other scene in the beginning is a halfway attractive male with his shirt off, or just some random attractive male, so she'll go, oh yeah, I'd let him cuff me anytime. Oh, that's dark chocolate, baby. You're saying this in front of your parents. No one... Ugh. No one wants to hear you. And... Ugh. They kill off pretty much every guy she was drooling over, and then as the movie ends, she goes, well, that sucked. They killed off all the cute men. Well, I'm sorry, the cute boys. You know... Seriously? That's your big concern about the movie sucking, is they killed off the guys you were attracted to? You know, I'd be SOL in every horror movie if they killed, or if I was watching them and said, well, that's an attractive woman, and she dies first thing. Oh god, I would never watch a horror movie again, because every attractive woman would die. Now, all 4 of us were kind of getting annoyed with this woman, and I'm kind of the most vocal about it. I'm not talking loudly, I'm whispering so only we could hear. And the girl, or one of the girls to my left goes, oh come on, like there's not an attractive girl that you're drooling over. I said, no, they're built like toothpicks. The men are built like fucking bodybuilders, and the women are twigs. Every single woman, her arms are like this big. And they have one woman, of course, takes off most of her clothes, and you can see her fucking intestines because she's that thin. I'm like, what the fuck? This isn't sexy. And that leads me to a big, big plot hole in this movie. Because they get out of the fucking horror genre and go into conspiracy thriller. I'm not fucking joking. As it turns out, Leatherface's family, I think it was the Sawyers, had a feud with another family, the Hartmans, who own the town now, including the sheriff, who was originally going to arrest all the Hartmans for burning Leatherface's house down after the events of the first movie. The problem with this is, the mayor now runs the town saying, you gotta keep this quiet. He wasn't the mayor back then. They didn't own the town, they were just fucking Hatfields and McCoys in modern times. So they're burning down the house in front of the police, saying, well, we're doing God's work. And the cops don't do anything because, yeah, they're doing God's work. Yeah, that's true. We can't do anything. Yeah. That's not gonna work, people. It's not gonna fucking work saying, oh, we're doing God's work. We're the good guys, so you can't arrest us. Now, barring that stupid-ass plot point aside, the head of that family is the mayor of the city. His son is the cute cop. Frankly, I thought he looked like a 12-year-old boy, but that's just me. And that's not jealousy. He really looked like a 12-year-old boy. And at one point, the cop arrests the main character, Heather. And I think they try to build up to this part I'm going to get to in a second, because she's like, you know, I used to think you're pretty cute. And then suddenly tries to stab him through the bulletproof window. Like, they have the holes in the window. Tries to stab him, but the knife doesn't go all the way through. All of a sudden, he has her bent over the car. He's putting handcuffs on her. He wrenches her aside. I'm like, okay, I thought they were going to go do a rape scene, but they didn't. So he's dragging her by, I thought originally it was by the shirt, but no, it's kind of by the arms. Ties her up, and all of a sudden her shirt's ripped open, and she's not wearing a bra. And I'm like, what the fuck did I miss? How the hell did... And then it just started clicking with me. I'm like, why would he do that? It didn't make any fucking sense. But then they do the stereotypical thing where Leatherface sees this scar from something. Oh, yeah, spoilers, by the way. I'm kind of ruining the ending because the first half of the movie's pretty much all you should see. But he sees the scar, realizes they're family. And she starts fucking ordering him around. That's right. Leatherface can be ordered around by anyone, apparently. As long as they're family. Here's the problem with that. They even mention that Leatherface has the mentality of an 8-year-old, or the intelligence of an 8-year-old, and they even say he's not trusting. A girl already got away, and when that happened, his whole family died. So he's thinking, this girl just got away from me while I was trying to kill her. Well, he was defending his property, no less, too. But she has a scar that looks like something I'm probably not going to remember. Well, he might not. That's neither here nor there. Now, given that the scar doesn't look like the necklace that fucking much, why would he fucking let her live? Much less let her order him around. And needless to say, he frees her, and then fucking the mayor and some other guy start kicking his ass because they get his chainsaw away from him. You know, Leatherface, who's supposed to be superhuman strong, too. And 2 schlubby rednecks can beat him down. And tie him up with a chain. And of course, it turns out that, you know, the sheriff comes in, decides not to kill Leatherface. It's like, yeah, just clean this mess up, walks out. And I'm watching this going, why are you trying to make us feel sorry for Leatherface? They fucking pulled a Devil's Rejects. For anyone who doesn't understand where I'm going, I like Rob Zombie's movies, somewhat. House of a Thousand Corpses is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen in recent memory. I'm in the minority here, I liked his remake of Halloween, the first one. Halloween 2 sucked. The Haunted World of El Super Beasto was fucking stupid. And then there's the Devil's Rejects, where they try to make you feel sorry for the Firefly family, make the cops the bad guys. I'm sorry, I can't feel sorry for them after what they did in the first movie, and after they decide to show Bill Mosely mouth-raping someone and getting off on it. I'm like, now I know that's the character, but it's out of character for him. Watch the first one. He's supposed to be the manipulator. He's supposed to be controlling the family and reveling in the blood, while not necessarily taking an active call in it. His whole thing is violence, and while rape is violence, he wants the bloody violence. He wants the hunt. He's not going to go into a hotel room, go, oh, by the way, I'm going to rape you. There's no challenge. He's already got them under the control. He would want the chase. And yet, despite all that, look at their horrifying death. Look at how bad the cops are. And that's almost what this movie does. The Hartman's tortured Leatherface. We should feel sorry for him. Leatherface killed people! Did they not remember in the first movie the cops were having a hard time making an arrest on the family because Leatherface butchered the bodies and it was kind of alluded that they ate them? You can't make that a good guy! And yet this movie fucking tries to make you feel sorry for him in the last fucking half. Ugh. Now, like I was saying, before I started spoiling it and going on a tirade here, the first half of the movie is great. Once you get to the end of the carnival scene where she gets away, stop. Walk out of the theater. The second half of the movie is not worth it. Because, and this is where it's painful, this is why it's kind of two movies. The first half of the movie is one, and it's worth watching. It's fucking great for a bad horror movie. The second half, I don't know what they're thinking. They tried to make this into a conspiracy movie and utterly failed. It's like a Bond movie without Bond. You have a conspiracy movie without a conspiracy because the conspiracy isn't there. It's, oh, by the way, we own the town now. The only way you can get rid of us is to kill us. It's an A-Team episode, for God's sake. The only thing that could have made the second half of the movie is if Mr. T came out and kicked Leatherface's ass, then said, I pity the fool who needs a chainsaw. I don't know why Mr. T's a redneck now. Apparently he's Yosemite Sam. But, oh. Don't watch this movie in theaters. Don't watch it on the Sci-Fi Channel either, because you'll miss some good parts. Mainly the... Oh yeah, that's another thing. Leatherface cuts a guy in half as he's hanging from a meat hook. But apparently his body was completely hollow. But that's a fucking flub. I'm not going to let that slide. The only gory part I had a hard time watching, this is for personal reasons, was Leatherface actively skinning the face off of a person after he was killed, and then pulling the face off. You hear like bones breaking and stuff like that, and then they show the aftermath of the guy's face being removed. That part fucking affected me. I don't want to go too deep into it. The memory of the movie's kind of faded on that point, thank God. But, I had to look away at that part. It's not like most movies where they're like, oh, we're just going to paint the face red. They had muscle texture, and they did a damn good job of that. But yeah, I can't really give this a solid grade. Watch the first half. Fuck the second. Anyway, that's all I got right now. I'm in the middle of some reviews. Should have the trailer for Brain Junk Food up and a fixed version of the top 10 from Christmas coming up soon. Other than that, I will see you all later. Have a great week.